What's good, y'all? Welcome to TZL Unprescripted, and I'm gonna give y'all a dose of my take on things from the Zoloft. Some stuff that has managed to make its way across my desk. So I'm gonna reflect on a few articles that I saw, and because things just sound better on Zoloft. I mean, from the Zoloft. Anyway, let's see. What do we got here? I saw an article from Nicholas Fondacaro at Newsbusters, and he says that CNN laughs, accusing Senator Tim Scott of tokenism and Uncle Tom for the GOP. Okay, so these are the things that they implicated. Now, I think I saw the interview on CNN. Yeah, they made their implications, and of course, there's people who are just outright we've heard these terms, Uncle Tom and sellouts and bootlickers and house Negroes and all that sort of stuff. We've heard these things, and these things come from the left. Now, here's the thing. And actually, we'll talk more about this in a minute. We know that all these epithets are out there. We know where they come from. While you got Republicans out there saying that there's no racism and there's no systemic racism, no white privilege, no white supremacy and stuff like that. But meanwhile, they overlook the fact that all these terms are still out. These are bigoted terms, and these terms are coming from racists. So, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea if y'all would stop being in denial about this. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. So these people know how to cover their tracks, man, and they'll get out there and make it ridiculous that we say that none of this stuff compares to Jim Crow, because they try to make the assertion that the GOP wants to take us back to the days of Jim Crow and all that sort of stuff, and they compare these things to Jim Crow laws and stuff like that. That's Democrats covering their tracks, because Democrats are the apartheid party. They're the ones who authored the Jim Crow laws. They're the ones who made the Jim Crow character, right? Thomas Rice made he was a Democrat. He made the Jim Crow minstrel, and they named these laws after that minstrel. So it has Democrats written on it all day, but you got Democrats out there trying to cover their tracks, try to express how much disdain they have for it. This way they can manipulate the people that they want to keep control over, namely blacks, to keep them as a voter stock, right? To keep on promoting white supremacy. That's what it's all about. The Democrats are not done, y'all. They've still been at this. So you have to y'all have to understand, man. These liberals out there, these white liberal elites, they have a superiority complex. They are the better white people. White supremacy has not stopped. All right, y'all need to understand that it exists in the Democrat Party. That's why you have these liberals out there, these SJW liberals, and these liberals that are part of Black Lives Matter. They want to be seen as the better white people. They're enlightened, they're woke, and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, they still want to be seen as superior. Right? So this white supremacy has not stopped. It still exists in the Democrat Party, and Republicans need to stop rejecting it. This is why they keep using it against you, right? You keep wiping their slate clean for them. And when you keep doing that, they keep getting away with it. Someday, at some point, they're gonna wake up to this. Thomas Smith, what's up, man? I see you, brother. Let's see. Now, I hate to say it, man, but and I hate to keep saying it, actually, because I've been saying this for a long time. They are correct when they talk about Republicans sending forth their black guy to express denial about all this racism and stuff like that. Yeah, it's very true. And I keep trying to tell Republicans, you need to stop doing this, right? It's not a bad thing to have, hey man, let's have everybody. It doesn't matter, white, black, anybody in between. Let's go up and make a stand against this stuff. But you're doing it the wrong way. You don't send the black guy out there to say, and that's too much of concern. That's what they want, man. That is what they want, right? Because it's like with conservatives, if you're black, unfortunately, more and more, it's becoming a point of you're not useful to them unless you go in front of the GOP and make apologies for them, right? These are the blacks like that they want. They want them, right? They want people like, I'm not saying that Tim Scott is doing a bad job. I'm just saying that he's naive, and a lot of these conservatives are naive. They don't do it out of bigotry or racism or anything like that. They do it because they're just really culturally naive. And they think that they can send Tim Scott out there to make apologies and to make these rejections of racism and stuff like that. It doesn't work. It's the very wrong approach. When you get out there and you say that there's no white supremacy and there's no systemic racism and stuff like that, you are giving the Democrats a pass. Why do you think they're able to keep getting away with this stuff? Why do you think they keep doing it? Because Republicans are flipping predictable. Too many of them. right? Not all, but too many. Like those who chill here in the Zoloft. You guys know what's up. You know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, we're a very small minority in this. But the GOP keeps doing itself a disservice, right? They keep doing themselves a disservice by trying to do this and rejecting that there's no white supremacy. Yes, there is. Is there systemic racism? Yes, there is. It exists in the Democrat Party, and you guys keep rejecting it. That's why they keep getting away with it, right? So, it's like y'all got to learn the hard way or something like that. So now, the responses, is that not enough proof for y'all? Is it not enough proof for you by the response? It makes the news, right? Tim Scott says this, and here they come, the legion of liberals giving all their racial epithets, right? Oh, but there's no racism, right? There's no bigotry out there. There's no white supremacy. There's no white privilege. All these white people out there saying what they're saying, right? Patting blacks on the back for getting out there and tearing down another black person. But y'all don't think that there's no systemic racism, no white privilege, these white people getting away with doing that, right? All this white, and no, they'll just say, well, actually, so it's liberal privilege. It's not liberal privilege, all right? Call it what it is, right? When you try to say it's liberal privilege, you are taking that stigma off of Democrats altogether. Trust me, it doesn't work. You guys keep trying to do that. It doesn't work. Use it against them. For the love of cornbread, will you guys wake up on this? All right? Stop trying to downplay it and call Democrats out on it. Stop saying, it's like, no, when they say this white privilege or it's racism and stuff like that, but yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And it exists where you are. The effects of where you are is where this stuff plays out the most. You guys are doing it. You guys are driving it. Yeah, I totally agree with you. There is white privilege. There is systemic racism, and it's coming from you. It's always come from you. But Republicans don't do that. They shuffle out the black guy to say, no, it's ridiculous to say that there's white supremacy and racism and all that sort of stuff. All you're doing is just giving the Democrats a pass over and over and over again. And I've been telling you but they don't listen to me. Y'all want to listen to these people, right? You listen to all them, but whatever, it is what it is. Let me see. Let's take a look at, hey, I see y'all coming in. Thank you guys so much for coming in. To make sure you get your cup full of head right. Make sure you guys get these mugs, man. Make people jealous of this, man. How come you seem really woke? They talk about all this wokeness, but you seem really, really conscious and awake and stuff like that. That's because I got my cup full of head right, man. You can get this at my website, bronzesurfermedia.com. All right, so we got Jake Jenkins, Religious Service News, and Jake Jenkins says that his article is Planned Parenthood announces new clergy board members, right? New clergy board members. I see Pennywise says, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Miss you. Hey, I miss y'all too. I've been here, right? I've been here. They keep me from being seen. I'm the internet's best kept secret, right? So people don't see me. And I understand when people don't see me in their feeds, out of sight, out of mind, they forget that I do stuff, and it's the way it is. That's the strategy. That's how they want to keep it. But thank you guys so much for, still trying to tune in, even if you get notifications or not. And most of y'all are kept from getting my notifications. But thank you so much for being here. So let's talk about what Jake Jenkins of Religious Service News says. And the headline of his article is Planned Parenthood announces new clergy advocacy board members, and many are from red states. Interesting. Now remember, y'all, when they talk about these red states, these southern states, y'all remember they're not becoming more Democrat run states. It's not what they're becoming, it's what they're returning to. Remember, these states were all Democrats, man. Longer than they were Republican states. They were Democrat states. They're falling back into what they were. All right. So I know, these red states, they think they got a handle on things. It's like, no, backsliding. Yeah, for true. Going back to being Democrats. So now he reports that, and this is coming from, he's quoting one of their advocates at Planned Parenthood. It says, access to comprehensive sexual and reproductive health care, including abortion, is supported by people of all faiths. Right? That's an example of that mixing fabrics, right? When the Bible, they downplay, the Bible in its superstition be talking about mixing fabrics. No, when you're mixing faiths, that's what the fabrics mean, right? These things are not sustainable. They'll tear apart. right? So it's a picture of that. Mixing fabrics, of course, God doesn't like people to mix fabrics, because when they would mix the wool and mix the linen, right? Wool is naturally mold resistant, linen is not. Okay, when that mold, if you wash that stuff, you don't dry it correctly or don't wash it correctly, and that mold gets in there, that stuff turns into leprosy. All right, it becomes a skin-eating fungus. That's why God didn't want them mixing fabrics. All right, so it's not some superstitious nonsense. There's actually science to it. All right, but it also means the mixing fabrics of faiths, right? So when you do that, and if you don't understand that there's only one God in the person of Yeshua Messiah, right, who was there from the beginning, if you don't understand that and you start mixing faiths, then you will end up doing things like sacrificing your children. That's what this turns out to. So this person is already making a satanic statement. I don't know what faith this person is talking about. This Johnson person, right, is straight up lying, straight up lying. So let's see. Then this article goes on to say, and this is going to be quoting the Reverend, the Reverend Zeh, explained that she felt called to ministry while volunteering as an abortion doula, right, at a Planned Parenthood while in seminary, where she provided support and held the hands of women at a clinic. Well, she didn't hold the hands of men while they were having abortion. You know, I mean, because I guess men are supposed to be able to have babies too. What are you being sexist? Why are you only holding the hands of women? Right? How come you're not holding the hands of men? How come you're not there holding the hands of the men out there who said, I didn't want this? Where's their comfort? You didn't feel like comforting them, right? The men who didn't get to have a say, right? But she's in there, you know, whichever. You see how contrary they are to their own psychotic narrative, where she provided support and held the hands of women at a clinic as they underwent abortions. Okay. And then the article goes on to quote another one saying, there are so few of us who are people of faith, who are willing to be bold and audacious about supporting reproductive freedom because of our faith. Because of our faith, right? She said. And then one more. I think it's one more. As leaders of faith, as a clergy, we are to stand and speak out loud as other clergy. Other clergy. I thought it was all anyway. In support of reproductive health, rights, and justice, right? And I noticed in these they have the Reverend and the Rev, you know, the abbreviated Rev, which is supposed to be for Reverend. I think in this case the abbreviated Rev is really supposed to stand for the revolting, right? Not the Reverend, right? The revolting. So the revolting Zev and the revolting whoever else these people are that in there. And then when you talk about this comprehensive healthcare, comprehend what? What's comprehensive about it? Are we supposed to be made to comprehend your lunacy? I don't think that's going to work out, right? Y'all they're trying to make us live by the law of their insanity is really what it comes down to. And, you know, when they talk about this abortion doula, are you serious? Okay, let's get back to that for a second. This abortion doula. What do you need a person adding comfort? Or facilitating comfort for these people? What do you need that for? What do you need an abortion doula for? It doesn't make any sense. Why do you need comfort when you're disposing of something that you don't deem as a person? That doesn't make any sense. You've convinced this person basically that the child in the womb isn't human. So it's just something, this tissue or whichever that needs to be disposed of. It's not a person. So why would they need comfort with that? I don't understand. And of course, neither do you guys, right? I'm of course, when I say I don't understand, that's a rhetorical statement. All right, I do understand what it is. But according to y'all's own narrative, it's not necessary because there should be no human connection to this thing that they're disposing of. So it doesn't make sense that they would need an abortion doula for it. That makes no sense. Why does there need to be people of faith? That doesn't make any sense, right? And once again, that's a rhetorical statement because I know exactly what it is with these people of faith, this fashion of faith that these people are more and more trying to introduce and then push on us as these people out there having prayer vigils, you know, supporting Planned Parenthood, people out there claiming to be Christians and stuff like that, or claiming to be people of faith out there praying for Planned Parenthood and the success of Planned Parenthood, and people in there offering religious attributes and faith to Planned Parenthood. Y'all, let me tell you what this is all about, okay? These people, these clergy that are going to be in Planned Parenthood, what this is, y'all, is that they are serving as priests in satanic service to officiate the sacrifice of that child to the devil. That's what it is, y'all. What do you need people of faith in there for? This ain't faith in the biblical God. It's not faith in him. It's faith, all right. It's definitely faith. But that's why they're there. All right. These people are following the sacrifices of Moloch, Baal, Chemosh, etc. Right? So these people are not in the service of God at all. They're there for their father, the devil. They are masquerading, just like him, as angels of light, a light that blinds and does not show the way. Their faith is satanic, right? And we are revisiting the days of official child sacrifice services, if you will, ceremony, I should say. We're revisiting those days, all right? They're back, right? Now, it's long been legal to sacrifice children, right? The abortion industry has been a legal industry for a while now. However, it has become full circle. It has become full circle to make it a legal religious offering, right? Even though, these religions, an establishment of religion is not supposed to be respected, right? But it is becoming that way. It is respected now to have a religious ceremony to sacrifice your children. And these people are being funded to do it in contradiction, in conflict with our Constitution. Planned Parenthood is funded by our money, right? We are paying for this. Y'all, please understand, we are paying for this. We are paying for children to be sacrificed and officiated, right? Have an official in there as priests, to be in there as people of faith as they are sacrificing these children, right? This has come full circle. The fashion of people being faith being there, y'all, they are there as priests officiating the sacrifice of children. It ain't faith in God, y'all. And if it ain't faith in God, it can only be faith in the devil. All right. So they talk about reproductive health and reproductive freedom, right? That's a lie. Let's break that down. Reproductive health. Y'all, the child is the reproduction. The kid is the reproduction, man. Which y'all kill. That's not reproductive health at all. The kid is the reproduced is not free to live. If we talk about reproductive health, the reproduced is not being free to live. Where's the justice in that? Ain't none. Right? So y'all, this is where we are, man. We're paying for this. We are paying for this, man. So, Lord help us, man. We got to get wise up on this, man, and stand against this. All right. So, at least let folks know. Say, hey, Lord, we try to report the truth. I mean, it is what it is. It's just this is the way it's going to go. Unfortunately, it has to be seen that, hey, the Bible wasn't lying to us about this. This stuff has been going on. We're in the days now, there should be no excuse for it, but we're still doing it, right? We have to be able to report and say, hey, man, you're doing this wrong. And we're not supposed to be made to be under these laws, right? We got to stand against this, or at least do our best to try to tell people the truth, get the truth to these folks, man. All right, so let's see. We got this article by Jeffrey Swindoll, and I see my dude Restoring Heroes Project, and a shout out and thank you, James, man. Thank you so much for helping out, and he's part of sending me some of these articles right here. We chopped it up, man. He said, hey, man, have you checked this out? And so I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. So thank you, man. We got U.S. government has been, this is by Jeffrey Swindoll, and he says, his article says, U.S. government has been buying and trafficking fresh aborted baby parts. All right, fresh aborted baby parts. Why y'all? Okay, fresh aborted baby. Now, and of course, they'll tell you that they need to do this because these things are, it's for research. Just for research. Yeah, that's sure. They may cover their bases with some research that they're doing with these kids, man, but that's a front. All right. Usually nefarious business practices have like some sort of storefront while they're doing some laundering and things like that. So they have to have a business cover. And that's exactly what it is with saying that these babies are for research or for medical advances and stuff like that. Actually, these children are being sold as delicacies. Okay. Y'all remember in the sacrifice, according to the rules of the tabernacle, and codified in the tabernacle, because this was going on before that, when the Lord would make his visitations. In the sacrifice, the priest may eat what the Lord ordains them to eat of the offering, right? So the priest, they could eat in this fellowship, right? The Lord does not ordain humans sacrificing humans. All right. Now, of course, people be like, well, what about Jesus? Wasn't he a human sacrifice? Humans didn't sacrifice Jesus. Jesus is a soldier. Okay. Jesus came in and took basically a bullet for us, right? Dove over a grenade for us. That's what he did. He didn't just hey, here, come in and sacrifice. No, he's a soldier. All right. And not only that, Jesus is God himself. Right, so it wasn't so much a point of him being sacrificed by someone. It was voluntary. It's God himself in the person of his son, right? So now in this, was it humans who killed him? Yes, right, because this is part of the adjudication that's going to come against mankind for the murder of his son, right? But this is a military campaign. You guys, I hope you guys understand this. This isn't just some sacrifice where God sacrificed his son. This was all from the get-go a military campaign. Jesus was going to die in a war, a spiritual war, right? He is the casualty. He is the prime casualty of that, right? To make this perfect atonement for us. So please don't get it twisted in saying that God is just some frivolous human sacrificer. It doesn't work that way. All right. So at that, I would tell you that the Lord doesn't ordain humans sacrificing other humans, but the devil mimics the sacrificial ordinance of God. And with human sacrifice, the priests can eat of the human sacrifice, right? Like I said, these baby parts are delicacies, y'all. You think people who are depraved enough to rape a child wouldn't be depraved enough to eat them? Yeah, there's a black market for both. You know that, right? That stuff is a cover, man. That stuff is a cover. We're revisiting those days, y'all. And as we see now, children can be born, right? If they get past the partial birth abortion procedure, right? And are born, alive, they were already alive, right? Set that kid aside to die. Where do you think that kid ends up? Right? So the depravity, this is depravity. This ain't new depravity, man. This has been here. Right? Now we're in the days where there's no excuse to be in denial about it anymore and turn from this wickedness. All right. And unfortunately, man, it's we're under the laws of nature, man, and things decay. This stuff is just it's gonna continue to get worse. I'm not saying that as a pessimist, y'all. That's just nature, right? But our job is to recognize it, right? As believers in the Lord, he's the only one who can make things imperishable. But in the natural right now, y'all, things are perishable. They have a shelf life. Our responsibility is to make sure that we don't decline with it. We lean on the Lord for preservation. There's going to be people who aren't going to lean on the Lord for it, and they're going to be the contributors to the decay. And the decay is inevitable. But you want to be the ones who to be that salt light to preserve and hang on to the word of the Lord to make sure that you're not among it. Don't contribute to it. Do what we can to let others know, to tell them, just, hey, man, cast that seed, cast that net, and see if the other fish are going to jump into it. That's what we're supposed to do. And hopefully some are going to jump into it. A lot won't. Some will. That's what we got to be able to do. So, you know, don't take it so much as a sign of pessimism. It's like, oh man, it's going to hell in a handbasket anyway, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's nature. That's how it's going to play out. But keep the hope in the fact that, hey, we can still be a part of the kingdom of Lord that will reign forever and it will never decay, right? So as long as if we stick to that, you know, and we can tell other people too, hey man, if we can get some, man, if we can get a harvest for the Lord, man, fantastic. Let's get that harvest for him. Not everybody gonna jump in, you know, but but don't let pessimism take over, man. And just because of the natural law of things decaying, there's no excuse for us to become defeatist or anything like that. Stay strong and telling the truth, man. You know, even though some people ain't gonna accept it, some will. Let's see. One more, man. Congressman post a photo of Nancy Pelosi. This is coming from Breitbart.com. Congressman post a photo of Nancy Pelosi's made in China mask for Biden's speech. Yeah, I don't have much to say about Biden's speech. I ain't gonna drag that out. I didn't even bother listening to it, man. I heard the one thing, you know, him talking about this attack on the White House being worse than the worst thing since the Civil War. I said, yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna sit here and let this dude lie to me, man. It's like Jesus, man. It's like right off the bat, he tells demons, shut up. It's like, man, look, hey, just shut up. You know, even when the demons were like, hey, son of God, I know who you are. Jesus like, shut up. Don't even try it, because what you're trying to do is you're gonna try to speak a little bit of truth. And then when people have their trust, oh, well, he's saying something valid. I guess I can trust him. And that's when they start lying to you. That's why Jesus like, shut up. I ain't blah, 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 blah. Right? La, 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 la. I ain't trying to hear you. Right? So it's the same thing with Joe Biden, man. I ain't tuning in for that lunacy, man. And then, so Biden, you know, be talking about buy American out there, puffing up his chest, talking about buy American. And the Chinese be like, what? You mean like how we bought you? All right. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in once again. For just wanted to kind of jump in here and holler at you and some stuff that I saw. It was interesting that came across my desk, and then I would go ahead and fill out a prescription from the Zoloft for you, so we can have a little chuckle therapy on it. I don't know. I might have had some funny moments in there. I hope I did. And but at any rate, y'all, make sure you go to the website bronzeseparmedia.com. Check out some other stuff that I got going on there. Got the audio books. Like a Solid Right Cross, Weapon of ASS Destruction. Got the music there from 20 Pound Sledge. Some jams there from Ava Aston for your indie pop listening music pleasure, which has a gospel basis to it. Make sure you get the mugs, the shirts, right? Make freedom fashionable again, y'all. I'm pretty sure these shirts might look better on you than they do on me. They might. Y'all be blessed, man. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk again soon.